James West here, reporting from Houston, Texas for Climate Desk. Now, one of the biggest uncertainties in climate science right now is the role of clouds. What better way to work that part out than flying right through them? That's what NASA scientists aboard this airplane think. Welcome to NASA's biggest airborne laboratory. You're coming with us today on an 8-hour NASA flight mission.
When you read these big IPCC climate assessments, what's the biggest uncertainty? There's two, right? The role of aerosols and clouds. Clouds is probably bigger than aerosols.
That is a piece of a puzzle that right now we are missing.
You can't get the models right if you don't understand the chemistry and the process.
Now we're being told we've got to get on. The doors are about to shut, so let's go aboard. Every time you turn on the weather, every time you hear a climate change prediction, that information has to come from somewhere. And it starts by getting sucked out of the air from planes like this.
So this mission is to try to understand the emissions from the surface, so mostly biogenic emissions, so from trees and other plants.
Right now we're flying to our very first part of this experiment on the DC-8. Over Arkansas, there's a particularly pungent bouquet of emissions that scientists are interested in measuring.
Well, these emissions lead to both aerosols and to molecules that both destroy and create ozone. So these are very important things to understand for climate studies.
How it will manifest itself, it will be in more accurate and more reliable predictions.
So what we're doing is taking a series of flyovers, each at a different level of the atmosphere, scooping up those emissions, testing them, and hopefully scientists are going to see exactly what's in this column of air all the way up.
The data that we collect in one flight can keep busy 60 scientists and students for 3 years, 4 years. We're still studying data from data collected 20 years ago.
In fact, this particular mission today is its most heavily equipped in its nearly 30 years of service. Each one of these consoles here is a specially equipped scientific instrument designed to collect all sorts of different data in real time.
And this instrument here tracks the sun.
We're looking at mist chambers. They're used to strip soluble gases.
This black line is the CO2. It's about 390 ppm right now.
We're putting these filters in the bags that we've got the aerosols that we trapped out of a certain amount of air. And so we're sampling up here about 150 liters a minute.
That ultimately flows back into the operational models. It flows back into what goes on TV every day.
Anyway, I got to get this sample going.
You do it. It's a busy man at work. We can't let him rest. Well, get this. We've just spent 2 hours crisscrossing this one cloud formation. In, back out again, back in again.
Then they grow, and we track them as long as we can, and then we let it go.
Even one cloud can hold a host of answers to the mysteries of climate change.
The patterns of, where the clouds are, what type of clouds we see, what kind of weather systems they're associated with it, that'll all be shifting in a shifting climate, in a world with climate change.
Then the big spark is this, is when we actually get the meat on the grill. And then it will be some time to process it.
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
What the frack?
President Obama, are you fracking kidding me?
Reopen the EPA studies. In Texas, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania.
Fracking pollutes our oceans.
Fracking poisons our water.
Fracking makes climate change worse.
Fracking relies on toxic chemicals that cause cancer.
Ban fracking now.
Ban fracking now.
Go on. Ban it.
Ban fracking now.
Please.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans of Free Speech TV, listen up here. You know, this is the Fall Pledge Drive. We've told you about it before. We need your help to keep free speech on the air. We are like nobody else out there in the broadcasting business. First of all, we are 24/7, the one and only progressive television network, and we are the only one that has no government support, no corporate support, no Koch brothers support. You are our lifeline. We depend on you, and we need your help for this pledge drive. Again, remember, our goal for the 2 weeks is $282,000. That means for our show, $1,500 a day is what we got to meet. We need your help to get there, and we're so happy to have one of our great fans and loyal supporters here on the line from us from Boston. Hey, Tom, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
All right, good. You're a big fan of Free Speech TV, right?
Yes, sir. I start my day every day watching you guys. You do a fantastic job.
You're a good man. You mean, so you got the Patriots and the Bill Press Show, right? Are they your big...
Yes. What more could you ask for?
There you go. You got it. All right. So you've heard us...
Bill...
You've heard us...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've heard us make the pitch for some help. Can you help us out today?
Yes, sir, I did. And what I'm going to do is... well, needless to say, I'm from Boston, which is also known as the cradle of liberty.
Of course.
Now, the only other city in the Union that can claim that distinction is the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. All right.
And, okay, now, I'm on a railroad pension, but I'd be happy to pledge $120 to Free Speech TV.
Wow.
With the challenge from anyone from our sister city of Philadelphia to match my pledge.
That is great. You know what? First of all, I love sticking it to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have a claim to fame here, right? They have Independence Hall, and that's where the Constitution was written, right? At the Constitutional Convention.
Right.
All right. So
That's
your challenge, Simon, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Your challenge is somebody from Philadelphia to match that contribution, right?
Yes, sir, of $120.
Match that pledge of $120. All right. And I'll tell you what, so we get that person, that person calls, we'll put them on the air, and we'll introduce them to Tom. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking it up a notch. We really love that, all right? And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Bill. Thank
Tom.
you, pal.
Tom from Boston. There he is. All right. You're out there from Philadelphia. Match Tom's pledge of $120. And for the rest of you, remember, if you can help us out, we will help you with some great gifts. For $30, we'll send you a pledge of $30. We'll send you an Eco Journal, Bill Press Show Eco Journal, and a pen set. For $60, this great stamp, people love it. Corporations are not people. You can use it to stamp your checks or letters or kind of whatever. $120, that's $10 a month. A copy of Republic Lost, Lawrence Lessing's great book on campaign finance reform. For $240, $20 a month, you get this. Look at this free speech bear with the free speech 10 buttons. 10 buttons here for all the shows on free speech, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. For $360, you get the whole works. The Free Speech TV Bear, the 10-button set, the stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. So help us as much as you can, and if you can really help with $1,000, get yourself to Washington. That's where we are. Bring a friend. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. Come in the next day, and you can meet the whole team here. That's it. Help us as much as you can for Free Speech TV. Go to that telephone number is 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. And we thank Tom and thank all of you.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem. Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
It is a day that will live in history. Think about it. The socialist African-American Muslim president meets the communist Catholic Latino Pope. Man, the
God bless
conservative
America.
Fox News is going to go crazy on that one. God bless America. Hey, hello, everybody. Here we are, Tuesday, September 22nd. So good to see you today. Yep. The arrival, the Pope is in and Scott Walker is out. Boom, there it is. Sum up the news of the day. We got it all covered from A to Z here on the Bill Press Show. We'll tell you all about it. You tell us what it means to you. Good to see you today on your local progressive talk radio station. Great to see you on Free Speech TV and on Talker TV, youtube.com/Talker TV. More and more of you tuning in around the world every day, and more of you watching us on Free Speech TV. We appreciate that. And on the solid audience that we've had for the last 10 years on your local progressive talk radio station. Good to be with you for another day. And remember, if you're traveling, you don't lose us on the radio. If you don't have a progressive talk station near you, you don't lose us on the radio. You got the two great radio apps, TuneIn or iHeartRadio. Either one, you can keep up with us, and they're both free. So please do so. And also, please give us your comments. We love it, hearing from you. 866-55-PRESS. That's easy enough. Put on your speed dial. Give us a call. And send us your comments on Twitter at PP Show or on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. It's not just me here, of course, it's the entire team. Peter Ogburn, Jamie Benson.
Here we are.
Good morning.
Let's do it.
Big day today.
Yeah, it is.
I know. It's
sure
going
how
to
to
be.
feel about it,
Everything's about to shut down.
Exactly. This is going to be the beginning of the big shutdown. Yeah.
I talked to 3 different people yesterday who were saying, "Oh, we get to work from home while the Pope is here."
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, everybody's staying home because it's just going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. People I've talked to, their offices are just totally shutting down.
Yeah.
Several yesterday. Anybody in the downtown area within blocks of the White House? No, not good. Don't even come in.
Not us, baby. We're here.
Well, damn right.
Yeah. We can get here.
Ray Rogers is here to take your calls also. 866-55-PRESS. And Cyprian Bolding here, but he's going to be taking off a little bit, leaving Monty
Chancellor, our buddy.
Chancellor. Man, couldn't get it out. Monty Chancellor, our friend, as our videographer for the program this morning. Very, very good. Well, you know, if you watched the debate last week, and who didn't, you would think that Carly Fiorina, yeah, she got up, she did okay, and she got up in the polls after her performance at the debate. But boy, she is one mean cookie, man. I'll tell you, man, what a hard-edged lady, right? Not somebody you don't want to go out and have a beer with. She doesn't have a soft side at all. Well, she wanted to show that last night. So she went on Jimmy Fallon to show the human side of Carly. And she is such a nice lady that she actually sings to her dogs. Yes, she sings to her dogs. And, of course, she had to sing one of her doggy songs.
What?
My name's Nick, and I'm lazy. Please don't take a walk with me. I'd rather stay right here at home instead. I want to lie back down in my nice warm bed. My name's Snick, and you're gonna have to carry me.
Oh, my God. Oh, you're going to have to carry Snick. Now we know why Hewlett-Packard crashed.
That's cringy.
That is cringy, and it is so freaking off-key. I can't believe it.
I mean...
No, it is.
It is.
Totally flat. Totally. She is... I mean, come on. Give her a little cue. Okay.
We now know that Take Your Dog to Work Day was everybody's least favorite day at HP.
Can you imagine? Because she's that person who has like a special purse that she can carry her doggy in, right? And probably calls herself a dog mother, or like her furry babies. She's one of those people.
She carries it in first class.
In first class.
Oh yeah, she does.
You know it. Oh boy. Yeah, that sounds like a bad thing out of Best in Show. That movie. Yes. That is. She's a character out of Best in Show.
That's exactly what it is.
She's a character out of Best in Show.
Yeah.
The CEO who can't leave her doggy alone.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, in this case,
the
dog may be the best in show, but she ain't.
Hey,
God,
nice.
I'm telling you, boy, if she's the nominee, I'm going to play that thing over and over. Oh yeah. Do you want this in the White House? Man, what a day. We couldn't do a Tuesday without Arthur and Igor. Arthur Delaney, HuffPo, and Igor Volsky from ThinkProgress. John Garing's written a great book about Pope Francis. He'll be here to help us greet the Pope today. All kinds of stuff going on. And yes, if the Pope is in, Scott Walker is out. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
We have a little business to do here.
There you go. Get your cocktail mixed up with, I have a couple of other stories. Making news today, we go to Florida, where at Ugalli High School, there was a student there they were having a conversation in class about how everything these days seems to be made in China. And the student, who is a student in Matt Susan's class, said, I bet the American flag is even made in China.
Oh, they are.
And they are. He took the flag down, took a look, and says, made in China. And that began a push for a new law in Florida that was signed into law by Governor Rick Scott yesterday. It's the All-American Flag Act. Beginning January 1 of next year, all United States or state flags bought by state, county, or city agencies in the state of Florida will be made in the United States. No more flags made in China.
I thought that happened a long time ago, but certainly
some states have done it,
but
Florida is the latest one to do it. So, sad news as we go to Japan. A 66-year-old tourist has died after trying to take a selfie at the edge of a cliff, and he backed up to try and get a better shot, and he fell to his death. Now, here's the thing.
I have no sympathy for people.
No, neither do I.
Go off the side of a cliff trying to take a selfie, or the side of a building, or whatever.
Here's the thing. Mashable has crunched the numbers. This puts the death toll of people taking selfies at 12. 12 people have died this year alone as a result of them trying to take selfies. To put that into a little bit of perspective, in 2015, there have been 8 deaths caused by shark attacks. So you've seen all the news coverage about the summer of the shark attack. Only 8 people have died by shark attack. 12 have died by selfie.
Self-inflicted.
Yeah, there you go. And the Pope is coming, as we just mentioned. D.C. is getting ready as best as we can. We've been told, by the way, that you really can't drive around the city. You need to rely on public transportation, which means the metro system here in D.C. Well, there is now a petition to have the Pope bless the metro system as soon as he shows up so that it might actually work. If you've ridden Metro...
That's a great idea.
Metro has its fair share of problems, and that's putting it lightly. So people are saying if we're going to have to rely on the Metro because of the Pope, the least the Pope could do is bless it when he shows up.
I wish he had blessed it yesterday. It needed it, man.
Big time.
Remember Travis Waldron came in?
Travis was a little late, yeah.
He was stuck over a half an hour at one station yesterday.
It's terrible.
They had a fire, not in the Metro, but outside the Metro, right up the street from us.
Yeah.
And
that messes everything up.
It was, yeah. So, I was going to the White House yesterday. I walked into the Metro, and I saw what a delay for trains. I turned right around, walked out, and got a cab.
There you go. That's all you can do sometimes. No word from the Pope yet as to whether he's actually going to bless it, but we certainly can hope here in these.
A quick Pope note. Among the dignitaries, not in the crowd of 10,000, but among the chosen dignitaries to greet the Pope in the official party at the White House will be two very good friends of ours, in addition to the president and the vice president, but two other very good friends of ours. Sister Simone Campbell.
Yeah.
Nuns on the Bus.
Nice.
And Bishop Gene Robinson.
Oh, come on.
That's great.
The first gay bishop of the Episcopal Church from New Hampshire. Two of them, both have been on the show many times here in the studio.
Our people.
They're going to be right there. And Mike Huckabee and others are saying, how dare the president invite these renegades and these, LGBT people in the case of Gene Robinson. Yeah, whatever, exactly. The Pope is bigger than Mike Huckabee.
That's for damn sure.
Well, indeed, he was the rock star. He was the dream candidate. He was the guy from the Midwest. Remember all the great things that were said about Scott Walker just 6 months ago? It all turned to dust yesterday when Scott Walker walked, or whatever. Yeah, lived up to his name. But here he is last July, full of vim and vigor.
We can fight and win for America. Thank you for coming out. God bless you all for being here. God bless our military, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
I don't know, run the tape. You never heard me say a good thing about Scott Walker because I never got it from the beginning. We talked about him often here on the show. I mean, I kept saying, I don't get it. I don't get what his appeal is. The only thing he's got going for him is he took on the labor unions in Wisconsin, the public employees, the people who make the least money of most workers in Wisconsin probably. He took on the big unions, and with the help of the Republican legislature, sadly, he won that battle. And then, because the people of Wisconsin are just too good and too decent, they didn't throw him out of office, so he won the recall too. But other than taking on the unions and taking on teachers, taking on firemen, taking on city clerks or kind of whatever, right? What did he have to offer nationwide? Nothing. I never saw it. I never got it. But Republicans did, particularly because he's next door to Iowa. And you remember all the things they said about him. They said, Scott Walker, he is the insider, but he's an outsider at the same time because he's not from Washington. He's from the Midwest. He took on the unions, therefore he could take on ISIS. He can bridge the gap. That was a big thing they said about him. There's the Tea Party people and the establishment people and the evangelicals. Scott Walker was a guy who could bring them all three together because his daddy was a preacher. He's a born-again Christian. He's establishment because he's governor, but he's anti-establishment because of his views and taking on the unions. So therefore, Tea Party, establishment, evangelicals, they all come together in this rock star named Scott Walker, who was way out in front in Iowa 6 months ago. So remember, before there was Carly Fiorina, before there was Ben Carson, before there was Donald Trump, there was Scott Walker.
Yeah.
And he ended up an asterisk. He went from like 45, 50, whatever in the polls in Iowa to be an asterisk ahead of Bobby Jindal and Jim Gilmore, all of which led to this yesterday.
Today, I believe that I'm being called to lead by helping to clear the field in this race so that a positive conservative message can rise to the top of the field. With this in mind, I will suspend my campaign immediately.
What I love is...
Welcome to the spin room.
Welcome to the spin room, exactly. I'm being called. Right, no. Hey, guess what? I ran out of money and ran out of votes, right? Yeah. Nobody likes me. Everybody saw through me. Everybody saw what a fraud I am, what a fake I am. No, I'm being called to do this noble thing by dropping out the race. Who is he kidding?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Like he said, I'm being called to run.
Right.
God tells me to run. Now, God tells me to
Now, God thinks
out.
you're a loser.
Yeah. I mean, that's a dog whistle word. I'm being called.
Yeah. Oh,
called.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. And
did you see the backdrop for his dropout announcement? It was so...
Was he on his Harley?
No, sadly. It was these two...
The whole thing about riding the Harley, by the way.
Fake, phony baloney. Get
Total.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, he's no biker.
It was this sad, pathetic little conference room with these two little dopey little flags behind him that looked terrible.
Yeah.
And it just was... It was a pathetic little event.
Now he says, follow me. Follow my example. I've been called. You too are called.
I encourage other Republican presidential candidates to consider doing the same so that the voters can focus on a limited number of candidates who can offer a positive, conservative alternative to the current frontrunner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Drag everybody down with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's everybody drop out so that we can have a positive message against Donald Trump. Yeah, he tried his message against Donald Trump. Where did it get him? Asterisks. Right. But you know the sad part is people of Wisconsin are still stuck with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good news for the nation. Bad news for Wisconsin. And Scott Walker. I was thinking today, this is it. This is the end of the road for Scott Walker. What? I mean, he's never, he might be were some Republican president elected again ever, which I don't see how that could ever happen with their position on immigration. They might give Scott Walker like a cabinet post or something. But, he's never going to be able to run for a national office again because this is his one platform.
Yeah.
And who will he be? He'll be an ex-presidential candidate. For the rest of his life.
It's really interesting to me to see how poorly his ideas played on the national stage.
Yeah.
This is the guy that wanted to kill unions, which worked to a degree in Wisconsin, but now we know where the American people stand on a topic like that. They don't want to see someone run around and try and kill the union. So the only way he's ever successful again nationally is if he changes his position, which he ain't going to do.
No.
He's not smart enough to do.
What do you say about Scott Walker? A final word on Scott Walker, 866-55-PRESS. I thought Richard Trumka, head of the AFL-CIO, said it best yesterday. When he announced, Trumka said Scott Walker was a national disgrace. Yesterday he said he's still a disgrace. He's just no longer national. Let's talk about it. 866-55-PRESS.
Like politics? Then like The Bill Press Show on Facebook. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So, come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win. Again, we don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book for $360 or $30 a month. The whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time. And then the next morning, come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere. But we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are a lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online. Thank you for up to the plate.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Help keep all the presidential candidates straight with your progressive headquarters for the 2016 election. This is the Bill Press Show.
Scott Walker's out. He was in for exactly 2 months, by the way. He announced on July 13. So much for the wonder boy of Republican politics. As most people point out, by the way, you know, as a longtime labor union member and proud of it, and our show is about 100% sponsored by labor unions. You know, as somebody wrote in the headline this morning, we are tap dancing on Scott Walker's political grave because he took on the unions. He might have beat him in Wisconsin, but nobody wanted that anti-union rhetoric nationwide. But Scott Walker did himself in. He proved he wasn't ready for prime time. Remember, he bobbled on the whether or not there should be birthright citizenship, the 14th Amendment. He once jumped in and said we ought to build a fence on the Canadian border too, and then had to retract that. Right? He famously said, "Yeah, I can take on ISIS. I took on the unions. What's the difference, right? I can take." So no foreign policy credentials at all, and he presented himself as an outsider. As John Nichols from The Nation magazine, who lives in Madison, has told us many times on this show, Scott Walker's he's done nothing his entire life but run for public office since he was in college. So he's the ultimate sort of insider. He's a phony, he's a fraud, he's a fake.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win. Again, we don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time, and then the next morning come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
The most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
33 minutes after the hour. You got it. Tuesday, September 22nd, Pope Arrival Day, 4 p.m. Eastern at Andrews Air Force Base. The President and the First Lady and the Vice President and Dr. Joe Biden will all be there to greet him. And then they'll see him again at the White House tomorrow morning. We got all the news of the day for you, the Bill Press Show, brought to you today by the International Association of Iron Workers. Yep, the good men and women of the iron workers. The sky's the limit for them. Yeah, you know that when you see some of the great buildings they have built, most recently the new World Trade Center building in New York. Visit them and find out more about their good work at www.ironworkers.org. Here is a champion of working men and women in this country from Huffington Post. Our Tuesday visit with Arthur Delaney. Hello, Arthur. What's up?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great.
All right. Were you one of those tap dancing on Scott Walker's political grave yesterday when he bowed out?
I don't tap dance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. But given how he's done or not done lately in the polls, no great big surprise, huh?
No, it was mildly surprising for everybody. Absolutely. He was not at the kids' table in that debate last week. He was at the big kids.
True.
He's at the grown-ups table.
Good point. Right.
People who are at the kids' table aren't dropping out. He's got more support in the polling aggregate machines than lots of these people. But I think his decision to give it up stemmed at least partly, from the fact that his campaign was running out of money.
I saw a number that he had something like 90 staffers.
Yeah.
Paid staffers, which, like, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, they had some early mo and a lot of cash, and they overextended.
But what was you touched on it? Even at the, it's sort of like with Rick Perry. There's a parallel that even at the end, he had some $20 million in his super PAC, but he ran out of cash for the day-to-day stuff. He couldn't pay his staff.
Right.
You know, the super PAC is under the rules. Can't be connected to the campaign. Can't pay for campaign activities. It's got to be for this. You know.
Well, I hadn't heard this. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
$20 million.
Yeah.
No, but, well.
So now the people who are in charge of that might have been like, "Listen, man, you suck.
Well,
please release us from you."
These are people who are willing to put money, like for Rick Perry, into their super PAC.
Yeah.
They're not identified, and they can spend an unlimited amount, and it's sort of like, you know, under the radar, right? But putting money into his campaign thing that they can use, so-called hard money that you can use for pay for airline tickets, pay for staff, all that kind of stuff you need. Both Scott Walker and Rick Perry ran out of that kind of money.
It goes to show you that whilst he was doing sort of poorly in the polls, but not the worst.
He's an asterisk.
Where he wasn't succeeding was with these rich guys who pull all the strings.
He also was not succeeding with the American people, and he wasn't succeeding.
Did that matter? I think that was
By the way,
secondarily.
I think it does. Yeah, maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Well, I'm talking about.
but
We're not talking about. We're talking about the
it does.
dynamics of a Republican primary, and it's not clear that matters.
But I think that if the opinion or if the polls show that you're not picking up any support, it's hard to go ask for money.
Yeah.
And more money while justifying paying that many people.
And after his performance in the debate, yeah, a lot of those people who.
But now what I'm saying is he didn't like totally gaffe during the debate. He didn't like fall over and pass out.
No, but that wasn't good enough.
His many gaffes on the campaign, I don't think were really contributing massively to his demise as a candidate. There are things like saying, "I'm not a career politician."
Yeah.
Which, yeah, you are.
Yes, you are.
And
right.
I refuse to take a position on such and
14th
such.
Amendment.
That was so bizarre. But that didn't matter. But I think the behind-the-scenes money bags guys were like, get out of our way, Scott.
I think collectively it did matter because he was seen as the bright, shining star of the Republican Party. And I think people saw through him for all those reasons that you mentioned. Plus, you had other more interesting candidates to come along.
Who might that
be? And the idea that a governor of Wisconsin is out, and yet the total outsider Donald Trump, Ben Carson, and Carly Fiorina are still in.
Yeah.
It's just
wild.
Yeah, it is wild. No.
Surely
it is wild. Now, you've been writing a lot about Donald Trump. He's down a little bit in the polls. Still a phenomenon? Still the one to watch?
Absolutely. But after that debate, I think everyone is a little more tired of him. Surely his shtick has worn thin. I mean, it was only the first 10 minutes on Wednesday night where he really had that energy. And he called Rand Paul ugly. And then after that, we're like, well, what have you done lately? Like, have you got any new material? And he didn't. And it shows in a handful of the polls, his star has faded a little bit. And many people are saying, hooray, it's the beginning of the end of Donald Trump. And I think that this is a plausible theory because just think about it. If at some point soon he's not number one, he's not going to want to do this. Because how much time does he spend during his stump speech just saying he's killing everyone in the polls? What's he going to say? He's going to get bored and surly and take his ball and go home if he's not in first place.
I want to come back to Walker for just a second because I wanted to ask you about, we've talked about Walker's limitations and his position on the issues. In terms of one thing that's important to you, food stamps.
Yes.
He was one of the worst governors in the country, right?
Well, no, in terms of what I write about, he was probably the best.
Oh, okay. Yeah. giving you lots of material.
I mean, he long ago surpassed Scott Walker as the king of the drug testing proposals. And in Iowa, I wasn't there, but reporters said it was a huge applause line. And somehow this didn't stay a part of his big stump speeches. It just sort of faded away. So it's disappointing for me.
What's his record in Wisconsin?
Well, he's simultaneously being really aggressive to push drug testing on food stamps and these other programs. And it's, he's got suing the Obama administration. It's this huge conflict. And that'll keep going on. But I had imagined it becoming this national debate, and it simply did not. Like, the idea just didn't catch fire. I think Republican voters are sort of used to it and not that impressed. It's not that original. So we'll continue to cover what he's doing. But I was sort of surprised that food stamps, which can be a really hot topic, didn't do anything for Scott Walker in this campaign.
Right.
And nobody else is talking about it.
No.
People are just like, whatever, man.
Didn't carry him that far. Let's jump out to Wisconsin and say hello to Pat in Beloit, Wisconsin, I believe. Hello, Pat.
Hey, Bill. I think one of the things that caught him up was in Wisconsin during those John Does, which we'll never see right now because they're sealed, but the leakage is that he correlated the PACs and things like that with his campaign directly. And because he owns all the branches of government in this state, it turns out that the Supreme Court, 4-3, voted to allow him to do this, and that's really, and two of the justices were getting money from PACs themselves, well, actually three. So it's kind of, he was able to get away with this underhanded stuff in Wisconsin. But when you play with the big boys and the federal government's watching you, it's a lot different story.
I'd forgotten about that. He was subject of a lawsuit in Wisconsin for mixing, for abusing campaign campaign funds, correct, Pat?
Yeah.
And whatever happened to that lawsuit?
It's Supreme Court, where, like I say, they have a 4-3 majority, and so it passed on to, that's legal, even though Wisconsin.
They let
him
get away with it, in other words.
They let him get away with it, and actually one of the justices dropped over dead yesterday in the court, and so there's going to be an open. Yeah, Patrick Crooks, and so he was going to retire, but they found him dead in the chambers.
All right.
Uh-oh. What was Scott Walker?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, right.
Does Scott Walker have an alibi?
No, but it's a good thing for us because we must then jump in there and really try to get that to be a swing vote on our side. But the big money came in for those judicial elections, too. Huge amounts of money.
They're elected?
So,
They're elected in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Oh, my. All right.
There was
Pat, well, thanks for bringing us up to date. I appreciate the call. We do not rejoice in the death of anybody dropping dead in their chambers, but at any rate.
R.I.P. Crooks.
Yes, we're up to date on what's happening in Wisconsin. But I'd forgotten about that. Scott Walker was subject of this long litigation. And
I had been under the impression that it had gone away. Now.
Well, what Pat is saying, it did go away because the Supreme Court said, okay, what you did by 4-3 is okay. But I think you made a good point. At the federal level, maybe he was trying the same funny money games, got caught.
There was some very weird reporting that a strange and mysterious scandal was following the campaign.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed's McKay Cobbins had this story where it was like, there is a rumor. I will not describe the rumor, but it's out there. And then yesterday, his former aide, Liz Mayer, also surfaced this in a tweet saying, I heard that there was this bad story coming. It may have involved a Walker campaign staffer and not him himself, but what it was, nobody knows.
This former staffer put out I think a blog or a memo yesterday with 7 different. These are the 7 different things.
It was a tweet storm.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like 20 tweets.
Yeah, right.
And one of the problems was that he fired her.
Yeah,
because she had insulted Iowa, which is like, what, don't.
That was the dumbest thing. That was one of his first major missteps.
It made him look gutless.
Yep.
Dancing on the grave of Scott Walker today. 866-55-PRESS here with Arthur Delaney from Huffington Post.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, you know, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win again. We don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while, just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240. You'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time, and then the next morning come in and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
12 minutes here before the top of the hour. Arthur Delaney here with us from Huffington Post. Igor Volsky joins us at the top of the hour. Arthur, I got to take advantage of your being here to check up. I forgot to do this earlier. I'm the coach of the Bill Press Show FanDuel teams league. And I don't know how we did. Monday Night Football's over. Did we win?
Monday Night Football.
So we're competing against our viewers and listeners on FanDuel.
And you're the coach?
I'm the coach.
He's the coach. So we're all playing, and we get to play. We get to play against our listeners.
Yeah.
So you guys have to pay money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's very
But
cool
you
the way
make
they have
money.
it set up. You can make money too. So we're all entered. We had a league of 25 this last week. It was so popular, we're bumping it up for this coming weekend. So if you want to join, it's FanDuel.com/BillPress. FanDuel.com/BillPress. So the final results are in after Monday Night Football.
And we can have 100 people in our league.
We can have 100 people in our league. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I finished 9th out of the group. And
were you our top guy?
I was the top guy here on the show.
8 of our listeners beat you?
8 of our listeners or viewers
So the
beat
team lost?
Where did I finish?
Oh, Jamie, let's
I don't
see.
even know. I
have
didn't
to
check.
go way back.
Because
Let's see.
the Colts did so badly that I had the Colts tight end last night. He was my
geez.
only hope.
I got to
and
go all the way down. Oh, Jamie, yeah.
I'm
you
going to
did-
bet he did not score a touchdown.
You ended up 21st out of 25.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, it all
on,
came
guys.
down to how your tight end was going to do.
We're going to have to take you in the locker room at halftime here and have a little talk.
It all came down to how your tight end was going to do, and your tight end got 0 points.
Goose egg.
Big old goose egg.
All right. Okay. And Ray and Sip were not in the.
They're not even a factor this
all right.
week.
You know, my office does fantasy football, and I refuse. I don't like it.
All right.
And last year they went around me and got my wife.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is the first time I've ever done fantasy football, and the FanDuel thing is cool because it starts over every week. So you don't have to follow a player week to week to week.
All right, so FanDuel.com/BillPress
Bill Press. Bill Press.
Bill Press.
Make sure you get that.
FanDuel.com/BillPress. Join the league. Join the league. Arthur, you can join too, and then you can challenge
on, man.
Peter and Jamie and Ray and Cyprian, and there you go.
I'm guaranteeing a win this weekend. I will be number one. I'll be number one this weekend. I guarantee it.
He guaranteed victory.
Arthur, he said that last week too.
And the week before that.
All right, now I was busy here during the break, but I overheard you tell Peter that last evening you interviewed Ben Carson's campaign manager.
Not me personally,
but HuffPo
at an event. My colleague Igor Bobik.
Oh, the
talk
other
to him.
Igor.
Yeah.
Right. And So what are they saying? Are they just saying we really goofed up? We're sorry, we made a mistake. We apologize to all Muslims.
Quite the opposite. And they've been consistently not apologizing for this for a few days. And what they said is we have no problem with Islam light. But they don't like the more extreme sects of Islam. So there you have it.
All right.
Ben Carson. Now, and the other point they're making.
So he will decide who's a good Muslim and who's not. Ben Carson will. Is that it?
It sounds like it. So now,
does he Does he apply the same standard to Jews?
I don't think so.
I mean, so an Orthodox Jew?
I don't think Igor asked that question. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, how about Orthodox Jews?
But here's their main defense:
conservative Jews or progressive Jews or whatever they're called.
He's not saying. Is he saying that a Muslim can't be president because it's not in the Constitution? He drags the Constitution into this, which is why it's controversial.
Now it seems to me that he is saying certain kind of Muslims could be president.
He is.
Right.
So they are going up to the line of saying, you know,
right now, how about certain kind of Catholics?
I'm sure their answer would be, yeah, you know, certain kinds of any religion will be fine.
But well, I don't think so. In the sense they're drawing distinctions among Muslims. They're not drawing. They would not dare draw distinctions among Catholics or Protestants or Jews or Buddhists or anybody
I wonder
else.
if you asked them that question and they had to, you know, you were point blank interviewing somebody, I could imagine them saying, well, yeah.
Yes, they would?
Yeah. But no, they're not. They're only talking about Muslims.
So he's not backing down.
Not at all.
All right. So we've seen Scott Walker drop out.
But can we also just say, you know,
yes,
since people might not be familiar with this because they hear about Ben Carson, this nice guy, he thinks that the United States is like Nazi Germany and that Obamacare is worse than slavery. He's really out there. Just FYI. I think it should be mentioned in every conversation.
I think that's,
other things he has not disavowed.
Right. I think that's an excellent point in that. But there for a while, like for the last couple of months, he's gotten away with playing sort of like Mr. Nice Guy, very soft-spoken, very intelligent, right? And people forgot what a crazy guy he really is.
He's wild.
This came out. This brings it back.
This stuff about Muslims is like not nearly as wild as this other stuff that he's said lots of times.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. Excellent point. Hey, it's always good to have you in, Arthur. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
We have to make room for Igor.
All right.
Coming up the top of the hour. All right.
Igor.
All right. We'll be right back.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, Igor Volsky from ThinkProgress here at the top of the next hour. Peter.
Saturday Night Live is rarely funnier than what's actually going on in the presidential race these days. But they are going to give it a shot. That we found out yesterday who their Donald Trump was going to be. That role is going to go to Taran Killam. He is one of the cast members there on Saturday Night Live. He does the weekend update.
Haven't they already had somebody playing Donald Trump?
I don't know. I don't think they had a steady person playing Donald Trump.
They should just have Jimmy Fallon do it. He's good at it.
Jimmy Fallon is good at it, yeah.
I'm sure Fallon will host soon, and I'm sure he'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's who we're going to have for now, Taran Killam.
All right. And how's the hair?
We will see.
Yeah.
We will see. His hair. I mean, he's a handsome guy. He's got good hair. He doesn't look anything like Donald Trump, so we have to see what he looks like.
They'll have a wig ready for him, man.
Sure. Or a dead squirrel.
Back with Igor Volsky here on the
Bill
Press Show.
Bill Press Show.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans of Free Speech TV, listen up here. You know, this is the fall pledge drive. We've told you about it before. We need your help to keep free speech on the air. We are like nobody else out there in the broadcasting business. First of all, we are 24/7, the one and only progressive television network, and we are the only one that has no government support, no corporate support, no Koch brothers support. You are our lifeline. We depend on you, and we need your help for this pledge drive. Again, remember, our goal for the 2 weeks is $282,000. That means for our show, $1,500 a day is what we got to meet. We need your help to get there. And we're so happy to have one of our great fans and loyal supporters here on the line from us from Boston. Hey, Tom, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
All right, good. You're a big fan of Free Speech TV, right?
Yes, sir. I start my day every day watching you guys. You do a fantastic job.
You're a good man. You mean, so you got the Patriots and the Bill Press Show, right? Are they your big...
Yes. What more could you ask for?
There you go. You got it. All right. So you've heard us...
Bill,
you've heard
sorry,
us...
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've heard us make the pitch for some help. Can you help us out today?
Yes, sir, I did. And what I'm going to do is, well, needless to say, I'm from Boston, which is also known as the cradle of liberty.
Of course.
Now, the only other city in the Union that can claim that distinction is the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. All right.
And, okay, now, I'm on a railroad pension, but I'd be happy to pledge $120 to Free Speech TV.
Wow.
With the challenge from anyone from our sister city of Philadelphia to match my pledge.
That is great. You know what? First of all, I love sticking it to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have a claim to fame here, right? They have Independence Hall, and that's where the Constitution was written, right? At the Constitutional Convention.
Right.
All right. So
That's
your challenge, Simon, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Your challenge is somebody from Philadelphia to match that contribution, right?
Yes, sir, of $120.
Match that pledge of $120. All right. And I'll tell you what, so we get that person, that person calls, we'll put them on the air, and we'll introduce them to Tom. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking it up a notch. We really love that, all right? And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Bill. Thank
Tom.
you, pal.
Tom from Boston. There he is. All right. You're out there from Philadelphia. Match Tom's pledge of $120. And for the rest of you, remember, if you can help us out, we will help you with some great gifts. For $30, we'll send you a pledge of $30. We'll send you an Eco Journal, Bill Press Show Eco Journal, and a pen set. For $60, this great stamp, people love it. Corporations are not people. You can use it to stamp your checks or letters or kind of whatever. $120, that's $10 a month. A copy of Republic Lost, Lawrence Lessing's great book on campaign finance reform. For $240, $20 a month, you get this. Look at this free speech bear with the free speech 10 buttons. 10 buttons here for all the shows on free speech, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. For $360, you get the whole works. The Free Speech TV Bear, the 10-button set, the stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. So help us as much as you can, and if you can really help with $1,000, get yourself to Washington. That's where we are. Bring a friend. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. Come in the next day, and you can meet the whole team here. That's it. Help us as much as you can for Free Speech TV. Go to that telephone number is 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. And we thank Tom and thank all of you.
I am your toilet, so how do you do? I take away your wee and the odd number 2. For a quiet moment, I'll always be there, bringing you troubles. You don't even have to care. Oh, think about the things you put me through. Things you put me through that I've been through you. Stuff from your body I'll happily take, liquid or solid. So next time you have to do a poo or a wee, thank the sanitary saints that you have me. When you think of all the things that I do, it's time to say thanks to your loo. La 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 la. It's time to say thank you to your loo.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Here he comes, fresh from Cuba. 4 o'clock today at Andrews Air Force Base, met by the President and the First Lady and the Vice President and Dr. Jill Biden. Pope Francis taking Washington by storm. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, hello, hello. Tuesday, September 22nd. How about it? Great to see you. Thanks for climbing on board the Bill Press bus here as we head out from our studio in Capitol Hill. To all of you across this land, listening on the radio, watching on television, on radio on your local progressive talk radio station, on television, on Free Speech TV, good morning. You're looking good this morning, and we got lots and lots to talk about. The Pope is in, and Scott Walker is out. And Igor Volsky is in from ThinkProgress. Hello, Prince Igor.
Good morning. I will not be in the Pope's arrival party. I will not be part of that party. In case there were questions, will I be there with the President and the Vice President? I will not be there.
I figured it was going to be shakes hand with President Obama, First Lady
a lot of people
Michelle,
thought that.
Vice President Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden, Igor Volsky.
Yeah. I got a busy schedule. I got places to be.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, plus it's Yom Kippur. I don't have time for the Pope.
That's right.
Well,
Please.
you sound like Brian Kilmeade.
Oh, do I? Oh, it's always a good day when I sound like Brian Kilmeade.
I mean, like everybody is saying how exciting. The Pope is coming here. Chris Wallace, who's a reasonable guy, is on Brian Kilmeade, Fox and Friends, who has a radio show on the radio show in which he
Kilmeade and Friends, of course.
The real Brian Kilmeade comes out. Chris Wallace is there. Thinking it's going to be a nice, pleasant conversation. They're going to talk about the Pope coming to Washington, among other things. And Brian Kilmeade, he drops a turd in the punch bowl, if I can be crude. Here he is.
Some of his comments just have no place. He's in the wrong country. But I tell you what.
He's in the wrong country? What does that mean?
He doesn't like capitalism. He blames us and money for what's going on in the Middle East. He says that global warming, we got to do more to have global warming. We're doing more than anybody else. Get on China. Show some courage. He's never visited our country before. Now he gets around to it, and he's critical going in.
Yeah, Brian Kilmeade dumping all over the Pope.
Oh, God. Is that like Saturday Night Live, or is that the real? That was the real.
Right.
Okay.
And you hear Chris Wallace
sometimes
say,
you can't tell the difference.
Chris Wallace say, what?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Great.
Yeah.
That's
what a
nice.
weirdo. That's just a weird thing to do, a weird way to react to the Pope coming.
Yeah, I mean, I've met Brian just once or twice, but I didn't think he was that crazy. I mean, let's dump on the Pope, right? There you go. We're just getting started, folks, with Igor. John Garing, by the way, he's written a great book about Pope Francis, is going to be here to talk about the Francis effect in the next hour. Lots more coming up, but first,
This is the Full Court Press.
All right, just a couple of other stories making news. Asheville, North Carolina, pay attention.
Asheville.
Because this is a troubling story out of Asheville.
My heart's going to flutter.
All right, so there is a coffee shop in Asheville called Waking Life Espresso, okay? And it's owned by these two guys, Jared Rutledge and Jacob Owens. And they are not very good dudes. All right, they before the story came out, they were considered fairly upstanding members of the society, of the community there in Asheville. But turns out they had been keeping up a blog and putting up a podcast chronicling all of their sexual conquests and sort of preying on women and documenting all this stuff, right?
Ew.
Very, very ugly, bad, misogynistic stuff, terrible things that they were saying. So one of the owners came out and apologized, said that, he was very young and he was very stupid. But these things go back to just earlier this year. They had a podcast called Holistic Game, which I can't even tell you what the tagline was. It's very, very graphic detail. So in Asheville, North Carolina, a fairly liberal hub of North Carolina, people are saying we don't want to go into Waking Life Espresso. So it's now getting national attention. They wanted to make sure our people in Asheville knew about it.
Waking Life is a whole new meaning
But
now.
there's so many great places in Asheville to go, right?
You'll
Go to 12 Bones for barbecue. Go to Bouchon for a great French restaurant.
Yeah.
With
Von Seal.
Yeah. Right.
So now we go to Colorado.
Ooh, I just came back from Colorado. Take me back.
Well, I've got some good news. Legal marijuana tax revenues in Colorado looks like it is going to double this year what it made last year.
That's good. Igor and Brian were just
That's what I'm saying.
You're welcome, Colorado.
You had something
You're
to
welcome.
do with this, maybe. Projections of legal weed sales were at one level, but here are some of the numbers. Through the first 7 months of this year, Colorado has brought in nearly $73.5 million. That puts them on pace to collect about $125 million for the year. So in 2014, they predicted that they would bring in about $70 million worth of taxes, and then they collected just a little bit more than that. So we're looking at much more revenue in terms of selling recreational marijuana in Colorado.
If you want to balance the budget, this is it. Pay attention.
Yep. Not enough presidential candidates are saying that.
That's right.
Too
Well,
many people are
But
running
this is why other states are going to follow.
I think you're right. And if you want to fly in class on Air Astana, which, by the way, is the national airline of Kazakhstan.
Of course.
And when I say fly in class, I mean you're flying in class. But you can buy a regular seat, and what they're doing for first class from here on out is they're allowing you to bid on first class with your other passengers. So instead of selling it at a certain rate, they're saying, oh, well, you can make a bid for another $15. We'll get you into first class. Someone else will say, oh, we'll do it for 20, 30, okay, you're going to hear 35, you're going to get a 40, and then they keep putting it up and auctioning off first class seats.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, right?
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get a discount sometimes. Sometimes you say, too much for me, I won't take it. This is good.
The difference between first class and regular for the national airline of Kazakhstan is
pigs, goats, chickens.
the meal that they serve is fresh horse.
Ooh, delicious.
My goodness.
Ooh. Pretty good, Peter.
13 minutes now after
the Pope sucks all the news out. Listen, it's not your fault.
Quick footnote on the Pope. I meant to mention my column up in the Hill today. Whether the Pope's message will soon be forgotten. We've tweeted it out to our followers. Another reason you should follow us on Twitter at BP Show. Hey, Jamie, I want to go to Ben Carson here. Start with this, Igor. We remember what he said first. Let's start with what he said Sunday, clearly, very clearly, Sunday to Chuck Todd on Meet the Press.
I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Okay, that was Sunday. He got a lot of criticism for it. Not so much from his fellow Republican candidates,
Well, some of them, to their credit,
of them did,
spoke out. Yeah.
John Kasich did. Jeb Bush did.
Even Ted Cruz.
That's right, Ted Cruz.
Even the liberal Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Now, so what is he going to back down at all? Well, yesterday he had a chance on Sean Hannity, and so this is where he's now coming out.
Now, if someone has a Muslim background and they're willing to reject those tenets and to accept the way of life that we have, and clearly will swear to place our Constitution above their religion, then of course they will be considered infidels and heretics. But at least I would then be quite willing to support them.
Now, I want to get your take on this, Igor. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the ISIS people who are saying, well, there are these Christians in Syria, but if they will reject their Christianity and accept our religion, then we could maybe allow them to live. Yeah. I mean, what is this? Picking out. I'll decide whether you're a good enough Muslim to be elected or not.
Well,
the right kind of Muslim.
You know,
right?
All of this, that this is now the Republican presidential race. This is what they're dealing with. Trump and this. And it's the natural outgrowth. It's scary.
Number one and number two?
Yes.
Well,
but it's also very predictable. These guys spent the last 8 years feeding their base the craziest of crazy to try and bring down Barack Obama. So why is anybody surprised that this kind of crap is personified with Ted Cruz, but also with Ben Carson and most vividly Donald Trump? It should surprise nobody that this is what they get. Real candidates who've done things. We may not agree with their records, but have accomplished things like Jeb Bush, like Scott Walker, can't break through because Kasich, because this is the garbage they fed their base and their voters for so many years, and this is what they get. And the only thing they can do as a party is be a crazy opposition party. This is what they get for doing nothing but opposing Obama for the last 8 years. And have fun.
This is sort of the Frankenstein that they
precisely
created.
This is what they built. The house they built.
The house of Carson, the house of Trump.
Great big house.
All right. Now, you are ready to celebrate Yom Kippur.
Well,
right?
celebrate, mourn.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, to mark, to whatever. To observe. Is that the word?
Yes, observe.
Okay. What do you think the chances are that Ben Carson is going to say, well, if it's a certain kind of Jew, I could accept them, right?
Yeah,
As the first Jewish president, well, let's see, Orthodox, no. I could not advocate that we ever would have an Orthodox Jew as president of the United States. Now, if it's a Jewish light, I might be able to go for it. I mean,
the great irony
that's
is that
where this guy is going, right? He wouldn't say it about any other religion.
A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Kim Davis, who they were all, well, not all, but a lot of them were defending, saying she has this religious right not to follow the Constitution. But we now learn from Ben Carson that if that religion is Muslim or Islam, forget about it.
Yeah.
Republicans in 2015. Good morning. Seriously.
Does he get away with it?
I think not, because you do see, and to their credit, even Ted Cruz that we just mentioned, who has a reputation for standing next to Trump and being for all this crazy, kind of said this is a step too far.
Yeah.
And so, Ben Carson is always, if he was going to spike and this is his moment, fine, he's going to have his 15 minutes. He's not going anywhere. But the party kind of said, all right, let's not go there. I think is really a benefit to them, I guess.
All right. So did Donald Trump and Ben Carson this is, before we take a break, got to spend a couple of minutes on Scott Walker. Did they do Scott Walker in?
Scott Walker did himself in. He started as a strong, principled guy who did accomplish things in his state, who has a real record, and he turned into somebody who panders to voters on lots of issues, flip-flopped on a whole host of different things, had no answer. I mean, birthright citizenship, 4 different answers, trying to follow Trump. And that's the lesson to Republicans. That's their main problem, is that they have core convictions, but then they feel we need to win in Iowa and South Carolina, and they pander, and it's transparent. And you look at Trump, he believes what he believes, he disagrees. There's areas of great disagreement with him and primary voters, but he comes across as a strong leader. None of these guys do, because they pander, and Walker is the natural consequence. And also, he didn't know anything. He was a policy novice outside of his little world in Wisconsin. He knew nothing, and that was a big problem for him as well.
Once he stepped out of his state boundaries, it really showed that
trouble.
This guy was
absolute trouble.
Right, a know-nothing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and particularly on foreign policy.
Zero.
Did not have a clue.
Yeah.
Even George W. Bush, remember, he'd gone to Mexico once for a beer. So at least he had a little foreign policy experience.
A better study at least. Short-term memory.
Abroad.
Boom.
I traveled abroad.
Yes. And the Pope arrives today. Will he have any impact at all here on his during his visit here in Washington or to the United States? Or is it all just a very expensive waste of time? Igor Volsky is here with us. I'm not saying that's his opinion.
Hey now.
I'm just asking the question. Weigh in here on any of the above. 866-55-PRESS. We'll be right back.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, you know, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win again. We don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while, just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240. You'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time, and then the next morning come in and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
25 minutes after the hour, lockdown starts today for Pope Francis's visit to Washington, D.C., then on to New York and to Philadelphia. Igor, yesterday I raised the question at the briefing with Josh Earnest about the Pope's impact the impact of his speech before members of Congress. Josh earlier had said, we don't know what the Pope's going to talk about. I point out here, I think we do know what he's going to talk about. Here's my question to Josh. Yes? Well, all right. Sorry, thought we had that queued up here. At any rate, there's a lot of talk about the Pope at the briefing yesterday. Here we go.
Maybe the centerpiece of his visit is his address to members of Congress. And as Jim pointed out, the Pope is pretty consistent in what he talks about. He talks about income inequality. He talks about climate change. He's talked a lot about Cuba. He supported the Iran nuclear deal. That's going to kind of fall on deaf ears in this Congress, isn't it? I mean, does the White House really expect the Pope to change any hearts and minds on Capitol Hill?
Quickly, Josh.
Well, it's hard to say. I think it will depend on the spirit in which individuals choose to attend that event.
I think Josh is crazy. He's not going to change any minds.
Wouldn't it be great, though, if these members, many of whom are Catholic, sat there with an open mind and really listened to their religious leader and thought, well, let's just hear his case on helping the poor, on climate change, on all these other issues where we disagree, and see, maybe he has a point. Wouldn't that be something if that's the kind of lawmaker we had in Congress who listened to fact and then made up their mind, as opposed to made up their mind and then picked facts that fit that conviction?
Yeah, in the world of Alice in Wonderland.
I know. Wouldn't it be so refreshing? We can dream.
Right. But
the Pope is here. It's a magical time.
I did point out to Josh that in biblical terms, this was what Jesus called casting your pearls before swine. Not that members of Congress are swine. Well, I don't mean to imply that. But the idea is, you don't kind of waste your time to expect these people to... Their minds are made up, their ears are closed. You know what they will do? Here's and back to my column in the Hill this morning. Check it out, thehill.com, if you didn't get it from us. They will treat him like a rock star, right? They'll be out there, get their selfies with the Pope. They'll be bragging about how close they got to the Pope and all that kind of stuff. And then they'll forget he was even there.
And, these are the lawmakers
public policy,
who use their religion to get elected, to connect to voters, and then when it comes to actual substance, disagree with their great leader on all of these key issues. Right. And, voters shouldn't give that a pass, because that's just naked pandering, exploiting your religion, and not following, its heart and its true convictions.
I tell you one thing. I hope he gives it to them on both barrels, right? I mean, climate change, income inequality, helping the poor right down the line. Yeah. And
who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? They judge all day long.
Yeah, maybe I can say something about that, too.
Yeah.
All right. Igor Volsky, great to see you, my man. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, Free Speech TV world, it's Mama and the Mooks here at the Stephanie Miller Show.
Hello. Good morning.
Seinfeld was about nothing. I think the Stephanie Miller Show is about everything.
A little bit everything.
Yeah, a little
It's
bit.
kind of everything like thrown into a blender and we hit frappe.
Right.
With wine poured in.
Right. Senators, fart jokes, politics, pop culture, entertainment.
Drinking.
Drinking. Random stray thoughts. It's what all the hip kids are talking about.
Yep.
We have the smartest, funniest people in the country on this show, do we not?
We absolutely do.
Right?
And our sexy liberal army of callers call in every day to tell us all about it.
There you go. And some right-wingers that Travis particularly enjoys talking to.
They're my favorites.
Okay. You can watch us every weekday from 9 to noon Eastern or 6 to 9 Pacific, which is really early. But we still, we try to, we're still pulling in people like Rob Reiner, Lily Tomlin, Frangela, you name it. You can only get it here at the Stephanie Miller Show. Mama, Mooks, fancy celebrities.
And everything.
And fart jokes.
Free Speech TV.
you wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
The moment.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TalkerTV. That's TAWKR TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
33 minutes after the hour. It is Tuesday, September 22nd. Washington buzzing with excitement over the arrival of Pope Francis here, direct from Cuba, where he's had a very successful visit there. He arrives at 4 o'clock at Andrews Air Force Base to be met by the President, the First Lady, the Vice President, and Dr. Jill Biden. And then tomorrow morning, he'll be at the White House for the arrival ceremony, then celebrating Mass at the Basilica I forget the name of the exact Basilica upon Catholic University, at any rate. Dominates the Washington skyline. And then Thursday, an address to a joint session of Congress, meeting with some bishops, and then heading up to New York. It's busy time here in Washington, D.C., and Congress very busy looking at some other issues, like are they going to shut down the government or not? Sungmin Kim, a congressional reporter for Politico, is on the Hill, covering the Hill for Politico, joins us in our studio this morning. Hello, Sungmin. Nice to see you.
Great to be here. How are you?
So things everybody's going to put politics aside for a day and
of course, it's
greet the Pope.
Francis is going to prevent a government shutdown. Yeah. He'll bring a sense of peace, and no one thinks that. No one thinks that.
Awfully optimistic.
Exactly.
What is it that I've read that they're taking such extraordinary precautions on Capitol Hill to make sure that no members of Congress can actually touch the Pope?
Yeah, Roll Call had a pretty funny piece yesterday. They talked about a memo from the leadership kind of outlining these precautions. Because if you figure, the setup is kind of similar to when President Obama comes to the Hill for a State of the Union. And we always know the story about the overeager lawmakers who always grab the aisle seats so they can shake the president's
we know by
hand.
name Sheila Jackson Lee,
Elliot Engel, the
right.
usual suspects. And they're trying to make sure that a similar shenanigans don't really happen with the Pope. And we would hope that the lawmakers would be on the best behavior when His Holiness is here. But this is the U.S. Congress, and you don't know what
is he going to walk down that aisle?
We're not quite sure, but I think that's what you would expect. And then he would go up where the president delivers his speech with Boehner and the vice president behind him.
Or he could come in from one of the side doors too.
Yeah,
right?
We're not quite sure of the setup yet, but that's the kind of what we're expecting.
But if he comes down that aisle, there's no way those people are not going to reach out. And by the way, the Pope is the one who is reaching out.
Exactly. He's known for
people.
kind of going into crowds, like, shaking people's hand, hugging them. And that's kind of the leader that he's known to be. And that's why I think the security logistics, people are kind of worried about that as well, because this is a Pope that is known to go into crowds.
So he's going to give an address to a joint session of Congress. And my understanding is he's going up to he'll arrive on the east side, our side of the Capitol. And then he'll give the address to a joint session in the House chamber, and then go out on the Speaker's balcony to greet the crowd on the Mall.
Exactly. I mean, there will be, I believe every congressional office got about 5 tickets for people to go out on the west front of the Capitol. So he'll go out on the Speaker's balcony, wave to the crowd. We know how competitive the tickets were, even just for the lawn alone. But for the coveted tickets in the chamber, every lawmaker got one gift inside, or one ticket inside the chamber, and those just went, so quickly.
Right. Well, very, very exciting. It's going to be. Okay. So do you think the Pope will say anything about Planned Parenthood?
He's expected to deliver some sort of a message. I would talk to the Conference of Catholic Bishops and some other religious leaders, and he's expecting to deliver. Obviously, this is a pope, the first pope from Latin America. He's known for his comments on refugee rights and immigration. That is expected to, if not come up in policy specifics, to be kind of an overriding message. Compassion and dignity for all humans, wherever he or she may be from. But also, this is the Catholic Church. We expect kind of religious protections, including when it comes to, issues of abortion, to be some sort of a central theme as well. There's also speculation that he'll address the issue of climate change and perhaps make Republicans a little bit uncomfortable in the chamber, and also a broad message of economic inequality.
Right. I'd be surprised if he does not mention climate. He mentions it everywhere he goes.
Exactly.
He just released an encyclical, Laudato Si', it's all about climate change, saying that we have a moral imperative to do something about it.
And we do have one Republican who was boycotting the speech precisely because the Pope is expected to address climate change.
Who?
Did you hear about that?
No. Who?
His name is Paul Gosar. He's a Republican from Arizona. He is, I believe, a sophomore, so he's a relatively new member of Congress, and he's one of the most conservative members. He's, always been kind of the willing to shut down the government over certain issues, and
so
he announced
boycotting the Pope.
He's boycotting the Pope. I was surprised that over the climate change issue. Yeah.
Idiot. Yeah. You know what? That gives one more seat available. Right?
Sure, right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Boy, the Pope must be really disappointed. Oh, yeah, he'll be crushed to hear that this idiot from Arizona's not there. Right, man. But on the issue of, the Senate has a vote today, in it sort of, they're timing it because the Pope arrives today and the Pope speaks tomorrow on back to the issue of Senate Republican, back to the issue of abortion.
So
what's going on?
So Senate Republicans are taking up. It's been a long-awaited vote for groups that oppose abortion and Republicans. It's a 20-week abortion ban. So basically bans all abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. It's backed by Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who we know is running for president, but he's also been a long proponent of this bill. And the anti-abortion groups, this has been one of their biggest legislative achievements, finally even just getting a vote on this bill. We know it's going to fail. We know it's not going to get 60 votes in the Senate to proceed. It'll
So
get a couple of Democrats.
It will not be a vote on the bill. It'll be a procedural vote.
Yeah, it'll be a cloture vote technically a cloture vote on the motion to proceed, Senate lingo.
Yes.
But it's part of it. The vote serves two purposes, or serves two main purposes. Obviously, it's a major messaging opportunity since the Pope is here to kind of, seize on the teachings of the Catholic Church and take this long-awaited abortion vote. The other kind of benefit for Mitch McConnell is that, we have the shutdown, scare fueled over Planned Parenthood. McConnell is hoping that this at least gets out some sort of the angst over wanting to kind of strike back and on Planned Parenthood and on the broader issue of abortion rights.
Right. Doesn't it also send another message? The other message is that the Republican Party is still mired in the abortion debates 50 years later, right? And they haven't moved on.
And
they're still making I've heard Republicans say, like John Kasich, and even Rick Santorum, who is Mr. Anti-Abortion, but Rick Santorum has said, we've got to be talking about economic issues this time. We've got to be talking about jobs. We've got to talk about middle class. We've got to be talking about stagnant wages. We can't just beat this abortion drum. And yet here they are. Look at the debate last week. And here they are now with the Senate still stuck with this issue.
And they feel like finally, they have the Republican Senate. This is at least a time to have that vote. But you're right. This is I'm sure there's some moderate Republicans who would kind of like to move on. Susan Collins has been one who has talked about this. We're not quite sure how she'll vote today because has been skittish towards the issue of late-term abortions. But you're going to see, but the interesting thing about this bill is that we talked to a lot of the blue state Senate Republicans who are up for re-election this year. Most of them are endorsing the bill. They don't see a political problem for them back home. They think this is kind of a reasonable restriction on abortion. But still, this just shows how, 40 years after Roe v. Wade, this is still a very potent issue in Washington.
Mm-hmm. And that procedural vote is today.
Today at 11 a.m.
Mitch McConnell won't be able to get 60 votes.
Yeah, we know Bob Casey of Pennsylvania and Joe Manchin of West Virginia are both Democrats will support, but not enough to get 60.
Okay. Were it to pass, President Obama would veto that.
Of course.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So where does that leave us then with the bigger issue? How many days left before this fiscal year runs out of money?
Yes.
9 days?
We are in the single digits
9
now.
legislative days.
No, 9 calendar days.
9 calendar days.
Because the House is not back until Thursday because they just cannot bear to be in Washington for that long. But they won't vote. The House won't vote until after the Pope's address on Thursday. So they're not even in town. The Senate is here. We're expected to, we say 9 calendar days. It's fewer legislative days, but we are expected to work through the weekend. So that does add some time and some kind of cushion room.
How excited are you for that?
You know what? I haven't had a good crisis in a while. I'm excited.
It has been a little while.
Yeah,
by Washington standards?
Exactly.
Right, so give me a day. They have to resolve
by
this.
September 30th, which is the end of the fiscal year, which is next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow, right. And there is still talk, is there not, about shutting the government down.
Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of different which members you are talking to. I think if you're over in the Senate, you have heard such forceful declarations from people like McConnell, like John Cornyn of Texas, saying we are not, we don't like what Planned Parenthood allegedly did either, but we are not going to shut down the government over this issue. However, the House is such a, it's so much murkier with the issue of Boehner and the challenges to his speakership. But it's interesting over in the Senate. Senator Ted Cruz has been trying to kind of rile up conservative opposition or conservative support to withhold votes for a spending bill, and he hasn't gotten a lot of Republican supporters. And actually, a lot of his fellow Republicans have kind of been shouting him down, saying this is going to be a failed strategy. How do we win? And we're not going to win. But so we think the House is where kind of the issue at the end of the day will be.
Okay. More on that, when the votes are, and what are the likelihood of a government shutdown? Do you think they would be crazy enough to do it again? Maybe. Sungmin Kim slow down, Bill, covers the Congress for Politico, on the job and here in studio with us. Good chance to get answers to your questions at 866-55-PRESS. Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, you know, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win again. We don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while, just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month. A copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240. You'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time, and then the next morning come in and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
John Garing has written about the Francis effect. Pope Francis arriving today. John Gehring joins us in the next hour here on the Bill Press Show. Right now we're talking perhaps government shutdown with Sungmin Kim from Politico covering the Congress. I hear... First, let's talk, Sungmin, about what is the reality of funding for Planned Parenthood? I mean, because I hear there's some people saying you can't shut it down anyhow. I mean...
So there are a couple of points with federal funding for Planned Parenthood. First of all, the amount... federal money cannot go towards funding abortions unless...
By law.
By law, by the Hyde Amendment. That's been law of the land for basically 4 decades.
Yeah.
Except for very, very limited exceptions. So that's point number one. And point number two is that in the broad, bucket of the federal government money, it's not a lot of money, period. It's about a little over $500 million in public funding. And even from that, I don't believe that's all federal funding. So that's combined with state and other local funds. And third, because of the way the Planned Parenthood federal money is administered, if you shut down the government, they're still going to get the money. So that's not really going to stop the flow of cash.
Okay, now you and I know that. Don't these members know that?
They have been distributed reports. They have been told of this. But that's still this. I mean, to them, this is a this is an important victory that they feel like they have to win. That they say, look, we've seen the discussions that's taken this place in these what they believe are horrific videos, and say, we have to say as a country that federal money cannot go to organizations that do this. So that's the broader message. So that so the details about how the money is administered and how small potatoes it is in the broader context. I mean, that really doesn't resonate.
So Mitch McConnell will say to these, look, it doesn't matter if you cast this vote and you shut down the government over this Planned Parenthood. It's not going to work. Planned Parenthood will still get its money anyway. So we should not do this and suffer the damage. And their response is, well, it's a symbolic vote. It's important to our base, right? And that's why we want to do it.
And I think it's similar to the DHS funding fight earlier this year. I mean, it's difficult to defund an immigration program that's not funded directly by the federal government. But they said, no, we as a Republican Congress have to stand up and say we're not going to fund these programs.
So either the House or the Senate, right? That it would take both.
Yeah.
No, one or the other, right?
Well, yeah, both would have to pass. So if one doesn't, then yes. Yeah.
Then okay. And the last government shutdown was 3 weeks, was it? Or?
It ended October 16th or 17th of. October 16th of 2013, because it ended up colliding, remember, with the debt limit increase. And they're like, we can shut the government down, but we cannot default on our debt. So that kind of helped push everyone together.
Now, so the Republicans are talking to Planned Parenthood. The White House is saying what we want is getting rid of the sequester.
Yes, but for now, I don't think they're going to, the White House and Democrats on Capitol Hill have insisted that, Republicans want more money for defense programs. Well, we want more money for domestic programs, and we're not going to agree to higher levels, not one without the other. And actually, you'll see a little bit of replay of that later this morning in the Senate after the abortion vote, which is expected to fail. Mitch McConnell is going to bring up a regular funding bill just for the Pentagon. He's already brought this up before. Democrats have already filibustered it over that same dispute for funding levels, but McConnell's going to put it up again to pressure Democrats once again, saying, Democrats are filibustering, money for the troops and whatnot. But we think maybe that'll kind of get break the logjam in the Senate, kind of get the actual process going after that. Okay. But for the brief CR, the stopgap bill, the levels probably won't be an issue. But it's those broader negotiations later this fall where that's going to be something that has to be resolved.
And the question that keeps coming up at the briefing, and I'm never sure exactly what they're talking about, is will we have, is there a possibility of getting a clean CR?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Clean means without riders. So defunding Planned Parenthood is considered a rider, something that's extraneous.
So
clean means none of that. Yeah.
None of that, right.
So,
just a CR, a continuing resolution to keep the government funded for a short period of time.
Exactly. A short period of time in this context, meaning probably November, December.
Mm-hmm. That's the best they can do then, huh?
For now, that's the best they can do.
How long since they passed a budget that just lasts for a year?
I mean, in terms of a budget, they, the Republican-led Congress passed one. Obviously, that's something that Obama would never support once it goes into funding levels. There was the Ryan Murray budget deal back in 2013, but that was a 2-year deal, and that's why there's this crisis now. Like, there's no way to relieve the sequester for the domestic and defense programs without a Murray and a Ryan to kind of, solve that issue. There really hasn't been a duo that's kind of come back up. And that's kind of the conundrum that you're seeing right now.
Yeah. So we go two weeks at a time or something. There's some who would really like to see that government shutdown and take some, maybe even some presidential candidates and take advantage of that. All right, Seung-min, the next couple of days are going to be busy for you down at the Capitol.
Lots of coffee.
Yeah. All right. You and Pope Francis have a good time.
We will. Yeah.
All right. And I'll come back and tell you what's on the president's schedule today. One big event we know about. Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win. Again, we don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set. 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book for $360 or $30 a month. The whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time. And then the next morning, come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere. But we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
This is the Bill Press Show.
President Obama, not a lot on the schedule today, except two big events. Well, he gets the daily briefing with Vice President Joe Biden. I guess that's a big event. And then anything the president does is a big event. Then what they've all been waiting for, the arrival of Pope Francis, as we've mentioned several times this morning, at 4 p.m. Eastern at Andrews Air Force Base. The president will be heading out there on Marine One with the First Lady. They will be joined by the Vice President and Dr. Jill Biden. Very, very unusual for the President himself to go to Andrews Air Force Base to welcome a foreign dignitary, but he'll be there for the Pope, and we'll be back and talk about
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans of Free Speech TV, listen up here. You know, this is the fall pledge drive. We've told you about it before. We need your help to keep free speech on the air. We are like nobody else out there in the broadcasting business. First of all, we are 24/7, the one and only progressive television network, and we are the only one that has no government support, no corporate support, no Koch brothers support. You are our lifeline. We depend on you, and we need your help for this pledge drive. Again, remember, our goal for the 2 weeks is $282,000. That means for our show, $1,500 a day is what we got to meet. We need your help to get there, and we're so happy to have one of our great fans and loyal supporters here on the line from us from Boston. Hey, Tom, good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
All right, good. You're a big fan of Free Speech TV, right?
Yes, sir. I start my day every day watching you guys. You do a fantastic job.
You're a good man. You mean, so you got the Patriots and the Bill Press Show, right? Are they your big...
Yes. What could you ask for?
There you go. You got it. All right. So you've heard us...
Bill,
you've heard us...
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you've heard us make the pitch for some help. Can you help us out today?
Yes, sir, I did. And what I'm going to do is... well, needless to say, I'm from Boston, which is also known as the cradle of liberty.
Of course.
Now, the only other city in the Union that can claim that distinction is the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, yes. All right.
And, okay, now, I'm on a railroad pension, but I'd be happy to pledge $120 to Free Speech TV.
Wow.
With the challenge from anyone from our sister city of Philadelphia to match my pledge.
That is great. You know what? First of all, I love sticking it to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But, you know, they do have a claim to fame here, right? They have Independence Hall, and that's where the Constitution was written, right? At the Constitutional Convention.
Right.
All right. So
That's
your challenge, Simon, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Your challenge is somebody from Philadelphia to match that contribution, right?
Yes, sir, of $120.
Match that pledge of $120. All right. And I'll tell you what, so we get that person, that person calls, we'll put them on the air, and we'll introduce them to Tom. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for taking it up a notch. We really love that, all right? And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right.
All right. Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Bill. Thank
Tom.
you, pal.
Tom from Boston. There he is. All right. You're out there from Philadelphia. Match Tom's pledge of $120. And for the rest of you, remember, if you can help us out, we will help you with some great gifts. For $30, we'll send you a pledge of $30. We'll send you an Eco Journal, Bill Press Show Eco Journal, and a pen set. For $60, this great stamp, people love it. Corporations are not people. You can use it to stamp your checks or letters or kind of whatever. $120, that's $10 a month. A copy of Republic Lost, Lawrence Lessing's great book on campaign finance reform. For $240, $20 a month, you get this. Look at this free speech bear with the free speech 10 buttons. 10 buttons here for all the shows on free speech, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. For $360, you get the whole works. The Free Speech TV Bear, the 10-button set, the stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessing's book. So help us as much as you can, and if you can really help with $1,000, get yourself to Washington. That's where we are. Bring a friend. Carol and I will take you out to dinner at one of our favorite restaurants on the Hill. Come in the next day, and you can meet the whole team here. That's it. Help us as much as you can for Free Speech TV. Go to that telephone number is 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. And we thank Tom and thank all of you.
I am your toilet, so how do you do? I take away your wee and the odd number 2. For a quiet moment, I'll always be there, bringing you troubles. You don't even have to care. Oh, think about the things you put me through. Things you put me through that have been through you. Stuff from your body I'll happily take. Liquid or solid, whatever you make. When you think of all the things that I do, it's time to say thanks to your Lou. If I wasn't there anymore, you can only imagine disaster. So next time you have to do a poo or a wee, thank the sanitary saints that you have me. When you think of all the things that I do, it's time to say thanks to your loo. La 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 la. It's time to say thank you to your loo.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Here he comes. Alitalia flight landing at Andrews Air Force Base with Pope Francis at 4 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. There to be greeted by the President and the First Lady and the Vice President and Dr. Jill Biden. A royal welcome to Pope Francis on his first visit to the United States. Washington very excited. And a lot of people just deciding to stay home for the next couple of days because you're not going to be able to move around Washington very easily. Hello, everybody. Good to see you today, Tuesday, September 22nd. Here we go. The Bill Press Show on the radio with you, your local progressive talk radio station, coast to coast. On television with you on Free Speech TV, coast to coast as well, and all around the world, global television, Talker TV, youtube.com/Talker TV, our video stream. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you on board with lots to talk about. Remember, we want to hear from you as to what the issues mean to you and your family. Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show or on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Team Press ready to go here. Peter Ogburn and Jamie Benson.
Here we go.
Hello.
Let's do it.
Fresh off of this week's FanDuel contest.
Oh.
Peter,
I'm glad you mentioned that, Bill.
Yeah, Peter.
Because I beat Jamie this week.
Yeah, but you got beaten by, what, 5 of our listeners?
I got beaten by 8 of our listeners.
8.
But that's not important. That's not what's important here. The important thing is that Jamie, who almost won the whole thing last week, fell all the way down to number 22?
21.
Oh, 21.
But here's the thing to remember. Week 1, I was much further ahead of you than you are ahead of me in week 2.
There you go.
Okay.
Season totals.
All right. But here's the most important thing. It's a whole new week.
That's it.
Everybody can
it's the beauty
sign
of
up.
FanDuel.
What is FanDuel?
FanDuel is...
Glad you asked.
Yes, fantasy football.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I take it back. I take my question back.
You can play Carimah. You're talking to Carimah Towns here from ThinkProgress. I was going to get around to introducing you, but you can play. Anybody can by going to FanDuel.com/BillPress.
You got it.
You got it.
And you can join our league. And the thing about FanDuel is it's just week to week, so you don't have to pick a player and then worry about them all season long, right? You have a player that doesn't do well one week, you ditch them, and then you pick a new player.
And Ray Rogers didn't get to play this week, but did last week. She's here to take your calls at 866-55-PRESS. And Cyprian was on the team last week, not this week, but he'll have a team this week.
You can win big money. The more people that play, the more money you could win. So you go, you sign up, as you mentioned, FanDuel.com/BillPress. Sign up today, get your team in motion, get your picks set up for this weekend. It's all kind of a moot point because I guarantee I'm going to win this week. I'm going to be number one this week.
Right.
I guarantee it.
May I mention, so Cyprian's not here today. Monty Kensler filling in as our videographer as well. And as we mentioned earlier, our guest here at the top of the hour, Carimah Towns from ThinkProgress. Good to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having
your first
me.
visit to the studio.
Yes.
So do you have a dog?
I do not have a dog.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Well, if you ever get one, right?
Sure.
Here's what you have to do. Now, we saw in the debate last week a very harsh, stern, strict side of Carly Fiorina.
Yes.
last night she wanted to show that she's really a very sweet, lovely, wonderful, soft person, a very warm person. In fact, she's got a dog, and to show her soft side, she was on Jimmy Fallon last night. She talked about the fact that she even sings to her dog.
That's
okay,
sweet.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
sweet. It's pretty sour, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Here she is singing to her dog.
My name's Nick, and I'm lazy. Please don't take a walk with me. I'd rather stay right here at home instead. I want to lie back down in my nice warm bed. My name's Nick, and you're gonna have to carry me.
Oh, you're gonna have to carry Nick. Oh God!
I can't believe that clip. That's
I
just the
can't either.
weirdest.
It is.
It's so flat too.
Very
It's so-
cringeworthy.
She's so cringeworthy is right. She's so
Yeah.
off key and the whole thing.
It's not
dumb
great.
thing, man.
It's
We
not
have a
great.
cat. I don't sing to my cat for the record. I just want you to know.
I used to sing to my hamsters. I'm going to throw that out there. I mean, I was in 4th grade, but
That's an
That's
okay
it.
time to do
No,
it.
when
Not
you're
when
in
you're
fourth
running
grade,
for president.
Yes, not when you're running for president. Exactly right. There's a time you put that behind you.
You've seen Best in Show.
A best
phenomenal movie.
Yes, Best in Show is one of the best movies ever. This is a scene from Best in Show.
100%.
Right.
100%.
All right. So Carimah here with us for the first half hour. Then John Garing, who has written about the Pope, the Francis effect, he calls it, will join us at the half hour. But first, Peter.
This is the
big stories of the day.
Yes, indeed. Just a couple of other stories making news. I bet you didn't know this, Bill, but
I didn't know
today is National Voter Registration Day. So if you are not registered to vote, you need to go out and go do it today.
Do it now.
That's right. It's a push made from people. People want to get more people out there registered to vote. So go out there, get registered today. It'll be a lot easier to vote in the election next year. You won't have to worry about it then.
Yeah, you won't be able to vote if you don't register.
That's right. How about this story? The former owner of the Peanut Corporation of America, a man by the name of Stephen Parnell, he was found guilty of causing a massive, deadly salmonella outbreak. This was a federal judge in Georgia sentenced him to 28 years in prison.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons that they said is because he knew that they had been tested positive for salmonella, and he said, send them out anyway.
And they take their peanuts seriously in Georgia.
I'll tell you what, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely right about that. This is the first time that individuals responsible for foodborne illnesses are facing jail time. Normally it's the company that faces the fine or whatever, but because of his specific actions, they're putting it right at his feet. He's going to get 28 years in jail for it. And I told you yesterday about Volkswagen, how they were in some hot water with the administration because they had concocted a way for their diesel-powered vehicles to sort of come in under the radar of the emissions test. Volkswagen yesterday announced that 11 million of their vehicles have this glitch or software that they've been using. 11 million of them. They said that they are going to... They're going to have to fix it. I mean, under direction of the EPA, they have to fix it. They're going to go out. They're going to recall those. They're going to get the right stuff put in there. But 11 million is going to take them some time.
take years.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of service calls to the VW dealers, huh? Yeah, it is.
Not to give them any kind of pass, but the head yesterday said we totally screwed this up.
And they got caught.
Yep.
14 minutes after the hour. Carimah Towns from ThinkProgress. The first question we have to ask before we get to the issue of the day is, what's Igor like to work with? Igor Volsky, who's here once a week. He was here earlier today from ThinkProgress, right? Is he a pain in the ass?
He's the worst. No, I'm just kidding. Igor's great. We sit really close together, and we're always joking and laughing. He's one of the smartest people I know. He's really driven, and he's sort of considered one of the special ones. I think he can crank out some really great work in a really short period of time. So we really respect him for the work he does.
Oh, I'm sorry I asked you that question.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to say
Igor,
such nice things about him.
He's the worst.
That's what we wanted to hear.
Let's talk about his annoying habits. Right? What music does he listen to at his desk?
Yeah.
So that's a good question. I don't know.
So you have a great story up on ThinkProgress this morning about this teenager down in Texas. I'm really glad you're here because I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet. Ahmed Mohammed, right, who comes into school and he had a project, I guess, to build something, right? And he
Yeah.
builds a clock, and he ends up getting arrested. What's going on? What happened?
So yeah, I mean, this
His
kid,
teacher, huh?
Sorry.
His teacher.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the story is that he wanted to show that he could invent things and that he had a really creative mind, and so he brought this clock that he put together to impress his teachers, and it went off in class. I think the alarm went off in his class, and so it alerted his teachers, and they said, this looks like a bomb, and he was brought to the principal's office. He was escorted to the principal's office by, I think it was 4 officers. He was interrogated, and his belongings were searched, and he was handcuffed and arrested and taken away. So that's how that story. That's the first part of the story, but the second part of the story is the
Let's
response.
stick with the first part of the story. For
Yeah.
I mean, I'm certain the teacher probably said, "What's that?"
Right.
And he said, "It's a clock."
Yeah.
She, he, whatever teacher says.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, it looks like a bomb. I'm just making this up. I don't know what they said. I'm sure something along those lines. And he said, "No, it's a clock."
Yeah.
They didn't believe him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was
Right? I mean, I'm sure he didn't say, "Guess what? I got a bomb here."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's not like a TSA he's trying to scare. No.
Yeah, and the other part of the story that I didn't mention is that he'd shown, I believe, a few other teachers, and I think one of his engineering teachers said, that's awesome, but you may not want to show that because it could alarm some people. So it's not that other teachers hadn't seen this clock; they knew what it was.
Oh, I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah,
Right.
and so even if this one teacher thought it was a bomb, I think some of the other school officials should have stepped in and said, actually.
But there's a way to find out. I mean, in a
Right.
sense. But so, what's the second part of the story?
The second part is this overwhelming response that we've seen. The day that this story came out, I think the Dallas Morning News broke the story, and the next day, social media just erupted with support, and it was actually a wonderful thing to see. And I think he later said, I didn't think a Muslim kid or people would rally around a Muslim kid like myself, and he got all of these awesome offers to go to like NASA and to go to the White House, but then on the other side of that, he drew a lot of criticism.
Right. I mean, so on the positive side, President Obama said, "Hey, kid, congratulations. Come down and see me." Mark Zuckerberg, I think from Facebook, said the same thing. There were some others. But then Sarah Palin, of course.
Yes. Yeah. So this weekend I wrote about this growing smear campaign, and I think there have been several players. Sarah Palin is one of them. Bill Maher made some comments. Mark Cuban made some comments, and Richard Dawkins, the scientist and famous atheist. And one of the criticisms that the article has received is that why listen to Sarah Palin? Like, why do we consider her newsworthy? Who knows who Richard Dawkins is? And my response to that is, Sarah Palin has 4.5 million Facebook followers. Richard Dawkins has 1.2 million Twitter followers, and so these aren't people.
Richard Dawkins is huge. Everybody knows who he is. Look at I forget the name of the movie, but it was a phenomenal movie about him recently.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Stephen Hawking.
Oh,
This is Richard Dawkins.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The atheist guy. Yeah. Different guy.
But again, he still has a lot of followers, and so these aren't people that we can really shrug off and discount. These are people who have a voice, and people hear them.
Yeah, but I just want to come back to, you mentioned a name that doesn't fit all the rest, and that's Bill Maher.
Bill Maher, yeah. So Bill Maher, he has said things about Islam before, and his argument was that people should, the teacher should be held accountable. They should apologize, but it did look like a suspicious, invention, and also, it wouldn't be an unheard of thing for this Muslim kid to bring a bomb because 2 people in the U.S. have joined ISIS, or 14-year-old teenagers have bombed in the name of Islam. And I think that it does 2 things. I think it's a reductionist statement, and in others, a little Muslim teenager. And he's really conflating a religion that has 1.7 billion followers. And he's singling out this boy who has never, there's no indication that he had any, radical beliefs, or, he's just been targeted. But I also think this sort of brings up a point that even if he did look suspicious, and I'm not conceding that. I don't think anything about this.
I don't think he does. I mean, I've got his picture up on my...
Yeah, he's wearing a Nasha T-shirt, you know.
He looks like a nerdy little 14-year-old.
That's exactly what he is.
The irony of him being arrested while he was wearing, or put in handcuffs, while he was wearing a NASA T-shirt was not lost on people.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it was a really, really powerful image. But I think even if we were to say, you know, yes, he has radical beliefs or whatever, you know. Sorry, I think you're still detracting from the treatment that he received. You know, like he can even if he does have radical beliefs. Well, what does that even mean? But at the end of the day, you know, the police escorted him out of his classroom. They interrogated him. They searched him. They arrested him and sent him to juvenile detention without any legal representation, without his parents. His parents didn't even have a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, and what does this say? This of course. I think part of the reason maybe that this has got so much attention that this arrives in the same week that Donald Trump doesn't answer the question when somebody says, well, Obama's a Muslim and that we got a real problem. And Trump says, we have to hear this question. This is an important question or something. And then Ben Carson, of course, follows it up with saying he could never accept a Muslim being president of the United States. Rampant Islamophobia, looks like it to me, starting here with a case of this 14-year-old Ahmed Mohammed down in somewhere in Texas, at any rate. And Carimah Towns, we're going to take a quick break. Carimah Towns is here. She's been writing about this for ThinkProgress, thinkprogress.org, of course. The growing smear campaign against Ahmed Mohammed. You expect Sarah Palin, but Bill Maher? Really? 866-55-PRESS. Love to hear your take on it when we come back.
Streaming live video right now at youtube.com/TalkerTV. That's TAWKR TV. This is The Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, you know, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So, come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win. Again, we don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month. You'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set. 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book for $360 or $30 a month. The whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time. And then the next morning, come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
The most valuable morning radio show, according to The Nation magazine. This is The Bill Press Show.
The Francis Effect. Yep. And the Francis arrives today in Washington. We'll talk about that the next half hour. Right now we're talking about Islamophobia, as exemplified by the arrest of this 14-year-old in Texas, high school student. He made a clock, invented a clock. Teacher thought it looked like a bomb. He was whisked off to jail. Carimah Towns has been writing about it for ThinkProgress, thinkprogress.org. But you got to admit, right? No matter what the teacher thought, if his name were Johnny Brown,
yeah, we wouldn't be talking about this.
She wouldn't have called the cops.
She wouldn't have called the cops,
and they wouldn't have taken him to jail.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, has the school district, has the teacher, has the police department apologized to this kid?
Yeah, so the school districts apologize. I think the school administrators have acknowledged their mistake. Police have acknowledged their mistakes, but he's not going back to that school. I think it was this morning.
Really?
Yeah, his dad took him out of the school, and they're shopping around other places.
Good. Whoa.
Yeah,
Good.
which is great.
But what does this say about? And add that to Ben Carson and to Donald Trump and on and on and on, back to 9/11, if not before, about this Islamophobia in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I think this incident is just part of a growing conversation. Islamophobia has been an issue for many, many years. This isn't a new phenomenon, but I think with the presidential debates and the candidates bringing up Islam over and over again and ISIS, it's something that Americans are thinking a lot about. And I think this teenager, this little boy, I think he has just been turned into an example. But I also think that the candidates have really focused on religious extremism, and most of the 2.6 million Americans in this country who are Muslim are not radical extremists.
Yeah.
Right?
Even George W. Bush, President Bush, made that comment, an observation a long time ago. Carimah, we're out of time. Thank you for coming in.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news. But, it could happen, given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday, that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win. Again, we don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time. And then the next morning, come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call.
Minutes after the
where
hour,
to
here we
meet,
go.
what to pack.
Tuesday, September 22nd, the Bill Press Show, coming to you live from our nation's capital, our studio in Capitol Hill, where we are brought to you by AFSCME. Good men and women of AFSCME, the largest public employee and healthcare workers union in the entire country, all under President Lee Saunders, doing a great job making America happen. And you can find out more about their good work at their website, afscme.org, afscme.org. Today, a big day in Washington, D.C., 4 o'clock this afternoon. The President, the First Lady, the Vice President, and Dr. Joe Biden will all be out at Andrews Air Force Base to welcome to Washington Pope Francis. He's going to take this town by storm. John Garing is with us from Faith in Public Life. He's author of the new book called The Francis Effect, which came out just earlier this month, right in time for the Pope's arrival. Good to see you, John. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Very exciting day, right?
It is. It's amazing. You can kind of feel it in the air here. At least the traffic patterns are different.
Yeah, and they're going to get worse,
yes,
I think, right? Yeah. So just so the people understand, he's visiting 3 cities, starting here in Washington, this afternoon, all day tomorrow, and most of Thursday, right?
Right.
What are the big events?
So here, the capstone of his visit here is the speech to Congress. He's the first pope in history to address Congress, and that's a huge deal, of course, for many reasons. And then there's going to be a mass at Catholic University, an outdoor mass of 25,000 people.
That's outdoors.
Yeah, he'll be
It's not
on the portico
of the basilica.
Of the basilica, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was inside.
Yeah, no. So
right.
there'll be people sitting and people standing, about 10,000 people standing. And yeah, it's electricity, Francis effect electricity all over the city,
Right.
which is going to be amazing.
And then his arrival, his welcome to the White House tomorrow morning.
Correct. Yes, and he'll meet with the president privately and Joe Biden, and wish I could be a fly on the wall in those conversations.
Right. Yes, they're going to meet actually in the Oval Office.
I think
tomorrow
that's right.
morning.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
so the red carpet treatment for the Pope.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What have you found to be? By the way, if I come back to the White House for a second, I know that among the celebrities or dignitaries or special invited guests to be part of the official close welcome, those who are actually there to greet the Pope with the President and the Vice President at the White House tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sister Sueng Campbell, who is a good friend of ours and has a blurb on your book, and also Bishop Gene Robinson.
Yes.
Who else? Others do you know that are?
Those are the two that stand out to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Those are the ones.
But I think
know
it's
most.
great that they're there. Here's a nun who was part of the group that the previous Vatican, led by Benedict, went after and tried to silence because they weren't talking enough. They were talking too much about helping the poor.
Exactly. And now, Pope Francis is essentially living out this vision in the Vatican and has embraced the nuns personally. And so it just shows you what a new spirit we have in the church.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are excited about that.
And here is Gene Robinson, again, a good friend of our program and mine, who's been in studio with us, the first openly gay bishop in the Episcopalian Church, who will be there in front of a pope who has said, "Who am I to judge?" Right?
Exactly. He's what I find most amazing about Pope Francis is he hasn't changed one comma in the catechism, but he's completely changed the conversation, which how he does that is kind of amazing. I think he does it by putting the poor first, by having a sense of humility, by having a sense of humor, by offering a different face of religion in the public square. I think he's not only changing the conversation about Catholicism, I think he's changing the conversation about what religion is in the public square. And as you know, the religious right has been toxic for the brand of Christianity in this country, and I think he's rescuing that in remarkable ways.
The story is, though, that as much as he tries to bring about change, he's getting a lot of resistance from the old timers, if you will, inside the Vatican, or in the Curia, as it's called.
Absolutely. He's a reformer. Right?
They're open.
Yeah.
There's some cardinals there who have openly criticized the Pope.
And I think the Pope wants this. This is what's different from past papacies, too. He said, let's have it. Let's have this debate. And he's getting it, right? And so, under John Paul II, who in many ways was a great Pope, there was a sense of sort of top-down messaging, right?
Totally.
We're not going to talk about this.
Totally.
Talking about these things are not good. I think this Pope sees conversation and engagement and dialogue and even disagreement as healthy for the church. He talks about a church that, doesn't move or doesn't have a sense of motion as being static and sick, and he wants the church to be moving and reaching out.
Now, one of the ways that these popes also, previous popes, right, if you solidified maybe their authority and their direction, were in the people that they appointed, sort of like the people that a president appoints to a Supreme Court.
Right.
So that John Paul, and we see that in the Catholic hierarchy in the United States.
Absolutely.
John Paul II and Benedict, they put in extreme right-wing hardliners for the most part.
Yeah.
Is Francis putting in more moderate people?
Yeah, he's shifting the politics of the church, no doubt. Pope John Paul II had nearly 30 years to shape the public voice of the church here in the United States with his appointments. Yeah. Now, Pope Francis, let's just take two examples. One, the new Archbishop of Chicago, Blaise Subich, who is incredible. He just gave a speech recently blasting right-to-work laws or right-to-work movements in Illinois. You have a new bishop in San Diego who has said we need a new Catholic political narrative in this country. And so he is slowly sort of opening the gate to a different kind of Catholic political conversation. That's going to take a long time, right? I mean, he's only been Pope for a little less than 3 years, but I think you're seeing that process start.
The new cardinal in Chicago, particularly, is a great friend of organized labor. I know a lot of friends of mine from Washington. When he was installed, went out there for that installation. Invited as his guests.
Exactly, and that's an important city, obviously, both historically in Catholicism and also just the politics of that city, and what his pulpit means there is very important.
So you've taken in your book, and also in a recent study that you did in anticipation of the Pope's visit, you have taken a look at the impact that he is having on Catholics in the United States and worldwide. You call it the Francis effect. Tell us, it's been 3 years now?
About 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. What is the Francis effect?
Things going on. One, as I said before, he's really showing kind of a different public face of what Catholicism is. He's changing the conversation. So I think people are taking a second look again at the church when before they were tuning it out. And I think that's significant. I think, two, the way he's shaking up the politics of the church has the potential to shake up our values narrative in American politics. So you saw Jeb Bush, for example, having to respond to the environmental encyclical, and it puts conservatives who are used to owning the values narrative in a difficult situation. And so, I think Catholic Republicans in this country in recent years have kind of gotten a free pass from the church on certain issues. As long as they check off a few boxes, their Catholic identity is seen as legit. This Pope is saying, no, inequality is an issue of justice and human dignity. The environment is an issue of justice and human dignity. And so that, that's not going to immediately change the conversation, but I think those issues are now at the front of the agenda when before sort of pushed culture war at the time.
And how does in clarity find
he's incredibly
across the board,
incredibly popular. I mean, most popular in this city numbers. I mean, he's very popular. Latinos are particularly responding to his economic message. We also found some interesting data that we presented conservative Catholics, Republicans, with a message from Pope Francis on climate change and then a secular message on climate change. And they actually responded more favorably to Pope Francis' messages. So I think he might have a unique capability to reach beyond the converted choir climate and reach some people, conservatives who maybe need to rethink this issue. And I think the Pope helped reframe those conversations.
Now, it's significant that, and you've pointed out, he has managed to this off without changing anything with Catholic doctrine, right? So just classic teachings on birth control or abortion or same-sex marriage, it's the same today as it was before he took office, but people still like him and like this better.
Exactly. And I think, why do people like him?
That's a pretty cool hat trick.
It's amazing. I know. If you could figure out that formula in different areas of your life, it would be kind of amazing to see. I think people like him because he puts people at the center. He said, while he hasn't changed church teaching on those issues, he has said in remarkable ways for Pope that we can't simply be obsessed with those issues, abortion, same-sex marriage, and contraception. He said that himself, and he's like, the church is going to collapse, in his words, like a house of cards if we don't find what he calls a new balance in our public voice. And so for a Pope to say that is quite remarkable. And I think people respond to him because he's welcoming people in rather than wagging a finger.
Yeah, boy, it's such a profound difference in what we've seen from many bishops and cardinals and popes in the past. John Garing here from Faith in Public Life, the new book, again, great book, The Francis Effect. And you can follow John's work at Faith in Public Life, all one word, faithinpubliclife.org. We'll be right back and talk about this address to Congress and what we might hear from the Pope, his message while he's here in Washington. Hey, folks, got some bad news this morning. There will be no more Bill Press Show. There will be no more Stephanie Miller Show. There will be no more Tom Hartman Show. No more Ring of Fire or Amy Goodman. Come on, you don't want to hear that bad news. We don't want to give you that bad news, but it could happen given the bad news we got from Free Speech TV headquarters yesterday that this fall pledge drive is just not where it's got to be. We're not we're falling way short, and we're not generating the support we need to keep this great national treasure called Free Speech TV going and operating. So come on, people, damn it. We've only got a few days left. We really need you to dig in and do your share and make your pledge today. And remember, for the Bill Press Show, that means 15 of you pledging at least $100 to Free Speech TV. 15 times $100 puts us at for this show, our $1,500 goal every day. So we need you to show your love and appreciation for Free Speech TV. Make your pledge today. Otherwise, we're going to be off the air. The good guys will lose. The bad guys will win again. We don't want that to happen. If you can help us, we will try to make it worth your while. Just a little incentive. Remember, if you can help us with $30, we'll send you a Bill Press Show Eco Journal and a pen set to go with it. For $60, $60 pledge, just $5 a month, you'll get a special stamp, specially made for Free Speech TV, a stamp you can use for your checks or your writing paper or whatever that says corporations are not people. $120, $10 a month, a copy of Lawrence Lessig's great new book, Republic Lost, about the need for campaign reform and how to do it. $240, you'll get that a Free Speech TV cuddly teddy bear and the Free Speech TV family 10-button set, 10 campaign buttons for each of your favorite shows on Free Speech TV, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. For $360 or $30 a month, the whole enchilada, the teddy bear, and the 10-button set, and the Free Speech TV stamp, and a copy of Lawrence Lessig's book. And we always offer you that special opportunity for those of you who can afford $1,000 for Free Speech TV to come to Washington. As soon as the Pope gets out of town, we'll make room for you. Come with a friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. Carol and I will take you out to dinner, and we'll have a good time. And then the next morning, come in, and you can meet all the team here at the Bill Press Show. But this is it. We're heading into the final stretch. We really, really need your help. You know, we've got this great national treasure going on Free Speech TV. There's nothing else like it anywhere, but we can only keep it going with your help. We depend on you. You are our lifeline. Make your pledge today at 877-378-8669. That's the phone, or online at freespeech.org. Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on Talker TV. This is the Bill Press Show.
13 minutes before the top of the hour, he is the Catholic Program Director at Faith in Public Life, faithinpubliclife.org, and author of the book, The Francis Effect. John Garing in studio with us. I mentioned earlier, John, on the show that I have a column up about the Pope's visit in the newspaper The Hill today. And I raised the issue yesterday at the White House briefing with Josh Earnest whether the Pope might find any people on Capitol Hill with his in the address of Congress who would maybe change their minds on some of the issues. Here's my question and Josh's quick answer.
Maybe the centerpiece of his visit is his address to members of Congress. And as Jim pointed out, I mean, the Pope is pretty consistent in what he talks about. He talks about income inequality. He talks about climate change. He's talked a lot about Cuba. He supported the Iran nuclear deal. That's going to kind of fall on deaf ears in this Congress, isn't it? I mean, does the White House really expect the Pope to change any hearts and minds on Capitol Hill?
Well, it's hard to say. I think it will depend on the spirit in which individuals choose to attend that event.
So that was Josh Earnest's little hopeful message. I followed through saying I thought it was to get biblical, sort of like casting your pearls before swine.
Right.
What do you think?
Look, I mean, there's no doubt this is going to be a tough crowd, right? I mean, I've argued that the United States in general might be Pope Francis's toughest room in the sense of, we have sort of this blind faith in free market orthodoxy here. We have a rising anti-government and kind of libertarian spirit in this country. We have a politics of fear and resentment stoked by Donald Trump. I think the Pope is going to offer an inspirational message to Congress. I think he knows that this city is broken and dysfunctional and divided, and I think he's going to come with a message both that will inspire us, but also a very challenging message. I mean, you heard the Pope in South America talk about the need for real structural change. I mean, he wants to get to the root of inequality. I mean, he's called inequality the root of social evil. And so this is going to be a tough message, and there's no doubt that particularly Republicans like John Boehner, who invited him, are going to be squirming in their seats.
So you think he'll talk about those?
I do. I mean, I think that the interesting question is how specific is he going to get? I think he knows the political minefields that await him. So I think he's going to be careful, but I don't think he wants to be seen as a cheerleader for the Democrats or the Republicans. So I'm expecting more of a values inspirational message, but he's very clear. I mean, he's not going to soft pedal it. I mean, I think he's going to talk about climate change. I think he's going to talk about inequality and immigration. I think he's very concerned that we have a broken immigration system in this country that splits families apart, and that's a pro-life, pro-family issue.
What's interesting in Cuba, you sort of had to read between the lines to get the criticism of the of the government, but it was there. But he didn't get up and say communism stinks, right? Or this system is broken, or Fidel and Raul are criminals or thugs or something.
Well, and I think he knows we're the most powerful nation in the world. We have unique obligations on the global stage and also here in our own country to the poor and the most vulnerable. And the most consistent theme of this Pope is remember the voices of those who are in the shadows and on the peripheries. He calls for a poor church for the poor. He says the church needs to be out in the streets where it's getting dirty and working and in the fray. And so I think he's going to remind us that we have unique obligations on the world stage, and that could be a tough message, no doubt.
And on climate change, he doesn't just say, hey, it's a problem we got to deal with. He says we have a moral in his very recent encyclical. We have a moral imperative to care for take care of, I think he calls it our common home.
Common home, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God's creation, and you can't ignore it. And again, he's going to be standing in front of people, many of whom didn't, like Marco Rubio even, deny that there's such a thing as climate change. The rest of them deny it's caused by human activity.
Exactly. And I think this points to how this Pope has put issues on the top of the agenda that in recent years have been kind of on the back burner in terms of values conversation. And so my hope is, I don't think you're going to see an immediate Francis effect, but I do think he is opening a new space for a different kind of values debate in politics, and I think that's significant. I mean, you have the historic number of Catholics running for president, a third of Congress are Catholic. Many of them are educated at Jesuit schools, I believe 1 in 10. So, I mean, first Jesuit Pope, 1 in 10 members of Congress have graduated from a Jesuit school. You saw Representative Gosar of Arizona just a few days ago, who's Jesuit educated. He went to Creighton University. He's going to boycott this speech because he doesn't like the fact that the Pope is talking about climate change. I mean, he needs to go back and read his Catholic social doctrine, I think.
And 5 members of the Supreme Court, Catholic too, right?
Exactly.
The Nation magazine this week, I don't know whether you had a chance to see the article yet, has a point, has an article about the fact that what the Pope is saying about income inequality and wages and jobs and everything really goes back. This is not new for the Catholic Church. This is back to Quadragesimo Anno and
I mean, absolutely
19th century.
I mean, the Catholic Church has been talking about living wages since 1891, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so this is nothing new. I think the Pope puts more institutional muscle behind these issues, and he's reviving it in a way that seems fresh and exciting. And so, when he's called a Marxist by Rush Limbaugh and others, they're completely ignorant of Catholic teaching.
Indeed. It's an exciting time, and you are right on target. Your timing is perfect here with this book, The Francis Effect, A Radical Pope's Challenge to the American Catholic Church, which needed a challenge. John Gehring's the author. Thanks, John, so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me back.
I'll be back with a quick parting shot on the Pope walks in and Scott Walker walks out. We'll be right back.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is The Bill Press Show.
And on this Tuesday, September 22nd, my parting shot for today, we've seen a lot of ups and downs in politics, but never have we seen anybody shoot up so far so fast and then sink so low so fast as Scott Walker. 6 months ago, the hope of the Republican Party, the undisputed leader in Iowa, near the top of the national polls. He was young, he was tough, he rode a Harley. He took on the unions. He was everybody's favorite candidate, the one guy they said who could bridge the gap between the Tea Party wing, the establishment wing, and the evangelical wing of the party. And suddenly it all fell apart as people across the country discovered what Wisconsin voters discovered a long time ago. Scott Walker was a fraud. So Walker drops out of the 2016 primary. That's good for the nation. Unfortunately, poor people of Wisconsin are still stuck with him as their governor. That's my parting shot for today, folks. We'll be back with the Pope tomorrow. Well, not in studio. Back with the Pope tomorrow. We hope to see you, too.
This is the Bill Press Show.